There is no financial rabbit to be pulled out of a hat here to save this.
You know, if you know me, you know that I am a Canadian football fan. And in CFL, you often get that last field goal in the very last second going through the uprights. And I remain optimistic that something is possible here. As you heard from committee and as you heard from Councillor Woolley, the challenge really is time here. The runway is short, and we have promised Calgarians that they would have plenty of time to consider prior to casting their ballot. And so what Council has to do tomorrow is determine whether or not there's enough there for Calgarians to vote on 2 weeks from today, or if in fact they feel that the clock has in fact run out without that field goal.
And don't you feel that we have enough information? Like, we know that 700 million from the province, another maybe 370 from the city, and then the feds are at least willing to match that. Isn't that enough? Can't we just trim back some of our expectations and move forward with the vote at least?
I don't want to get so deep into this with you, but the numbers that you quoted, that's not enough. You can't actually run the games at that match. You just can't. And yes, this has always been, this is the thing that's interesting about this, is that this has always been a very, very, very frugal budget. Because I insisted on that from the beginning. Don't lard it up. Don't put extra stuff in it. Let's be very honest and very clear with Calgarians on what this is actually going to cost. And I suppose one of the challenges with that is that, you know, other politicians in other worlds may have put in a budget knowing that they would scale it back, but we've been honest from the very, very beginning. And so the challenge is that given the numbers you just quoted, you can't do the games on that. And so the real question was, can you squeeze out some savings? Yes. Some efficiencies? Absolutely. But can you also juice up the revenue in order to meet that? And even if we were able to do that today, what you hear a lot of nervousness from council about is that enough time for people to vote?
Can you just give us a number now, or why do we have to wait till tomorrow? How big is the gap?
Well, you know, what we were talking about today were a variety of options that were on the table to essentially close the gap. And the question is, are you comfortable with those options? Do they make sense from a risk perspective? Are we staying within the mandate the council gave us? Bluntly, is this a good deal? And I'll remind everybody that from the very, very beginning of all this, as much of an Olympics fan as I am, I've said, this is not about being pro-Olympics, it's being about pro-Calgary. It's about the horse that is right for Calgary, and it is about the deal that is right for Calgary. And if council does not feel that that deal is good enough for Calgary to take to a vote, then that is absolutely council's prerogative, and we'll have much more to say about that tomorrow.